I just want people to be happy. I want everyone to be happy. And you know, happiness, it comes when you're willing to be happy too. Like, a lot of people aren't willing to be happy. Like, they think they know how to be happy. Like, they think money is going to buy that happiness, and you know, they think money is going to buy them happiness, and like, so many people are like, fuck you, money will buy me happiness, and it's like, will it though? Will it actually buy you physical happiness, or is it just going to buy you things that make you think that you're happy and you're really not happy because you haven't actually done anything to earn that happiness? I used to think that happiness was something that could be bought, and that was a goal. And here I am. It's my karma now. It's my karma now to be in the face of people who think the exact same as me, as I did, and for me to never be able to reach those people. You know, Cassandra of Troy. She was cursed to be able to see the future and to know that Troy was fallen, but nobody would ever believe her, right? So I've learned how much I resonate with this story in general, because I've always found that the people that are led to me are the people that don't want to hear it, and so I have to find creative ways of expressing those thoughts. I can't talk about it outright, because usually when I talk about it outright, people jump down my throat over it. But money, it's not... Sure, you know, it can afford you certain surgeries and procedures and, you know, a certain lavish lifestyle, but at the end of the day, what do you have? Do you have more people in your life? Okay, well, if that's all you wanted, are those people in your life because they wanted to be surrounded by your generosity? Or do they actually like you? Do they actually love you? Or do they love the fact that you have wealth and you're willing to share it? Well, of course they love me. Do they, though? Do they? I don't think they do.
Sup, Ryder? It's time for some mass race mayhem. Chop, chop.
You know, fuck it. I want to do a mass race. I haven't done one of these in a minute. Where is this bitch? But and obviously, like there, it goes without saying that, like, aspects of money can help people, because, like, people shouldn't be starving to death. People should be able to, you know, get the procedures that they need to get and whatnot. But, like, outside of that, you know, what up? Outside of those things, right? What money really getting for you? What is it affording you, you know?
Time to tune in to the first round.
And again, like, it's so much better to sort of be free of the need of it. You know, of course we all need it, but like, it's to be free of this feeling like I need it. Like, it's such a miserable thing. Or I'm not doing the fucking tricks thing, dumbass. This is fucking me up for the entire fucking thing. It's so unhealthy to sit there and you know, live your life with this idea that you need, and how can I get it, and what can I do, and you know, there's so much stress when it comes to that, and people completely ignore what love can do for them in the same exact way, where it's like, how can I afford these things and gain these things and have these things
Pick up the speed and hunt down
without
those
actually
riders,
having
baby.
to work nearly as hard for them, where I don't have to do it all on my own and by myself, right? Where I can just do what I need to, and it'll just make its way to me in some kind of way. People don't think that that's possible, because it's like, you know, we're raised in a country that wants you to believe that you have to move out of your parents' home by a certain age, or everyone's going to judge you, and buy your own house and accrue all of this debt and do this and do that and whatever, right? Because we're programmed to follow the rules and to always do what everyone else did before us, because that's the only way to succeed. Although that's literally so backwards, because the only way to succeed is to be ahead of the trend. Realistically, you have to be ahead of the trend. So if everybody else is doing it, you know, with like stocks or whatever, when they tell you, oh, everybody buy Shiba coin, you're not going to gain anything from it at that point, because
we're in the business end. Pick up the shred.
the people that were going to benefit from it are only benefiting from you by purchasing it, because they can sort of feed off your hunger for
we have a winner.
your hunger for more. Same thing with the way that you go about your life, right? What the guy before you did is somewhat important, but it's not the only important aspect of what you need to do in order to get to where you need to go. You've got to actually kind of be willing to be reckless and be willing to do things outside of the box, and be willing to follow your heart more than anything, because your heart is always going to guide you in the right direction. And people think they know what the heart is, but the heart really is like who were you before the entire world decided to shape you, before you were afraid about money, before, you know, they told you you had to go to college, before they told you you know, that you can't amount to something because of the color of your skin, or if they told you that you can only amount to a certain thing because of your gender, or any of those things. You know, like, we house all these fears and these anxieties that people put on us, and once you shed all of that, and you're back to who you were before anybody had any fucking say in who you became, you know, and you just follow that. You follow that need and that hunger. And I'm not even going to say desire, because desire is a really dirty feeling. But you feed that hunger inside, and you're always going to be in the right place at the right time. And you're never going to have to be left to wonder. And, you know, you might not even necessarily look at your bank account in those times. And you could have a ridiculous amount of money in your bank account, or you could have very little and still be feeling the same freedom from that system. And it's just such a optimal way of living. You know, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I feel in my heart that I will be there very soon. And, you know, while people might look at me and they might scoff and they might say, oh, well, that's ridiculous, you know, there's no way that you could possibly ever do that. I don't let those things affect me the way that they used to, because there's just so much sadness in that, and I'm just over being sad all the time and depressed. You know, other people, in the way that they think about how I should live my life and how I should go about my life, like, and who I should be because of this, and that, and who I should be because, who I must be because of this, and that, you know, it's just systems of control, and I'm done. We're done with that. We're not doing that in 2022. There's no need for it. There's no need to be projecting all of this sadness amongst each other. You know, we should be supporting one another no matter what our choices are, no matter how we choose to be, no matter what our viewpoints are. And I specifically really identify that one, no matter what our specific viewpoints are. If we don't agree, then we can find better ways to agree. We can find middle ground. It is absolutely possible. It doesn't have to be a death sentence for whatever connection you have with someone. If you don't agree politically or whatever, or ideologically, or religiously, right? Damn it. Because, you know, it's funny, I look at either side of me. You know, my left hand and what it... see, I wanted to go over the way that guy went over ahead of me. On the left hand, you have political ideologies and... wow, I'm really fucking up this last part. Political ideologies and,
Last 10 seconds!
oh. Political ideologies and, like, viewpoints, social viewpoints, right? Especially with, like, the political left, right? It's very based on those things. It's based on what you should be doing as a human, how you should be, the way to be a nice person, to be a good person, all of those things. But it completely avoids aspects of the spiritual, the necessity way to break free from systems, right? That's why the right hand, it's so rigid, and Catholicism and all that. And I don't agree with a lot of that, because it's just another version of the same type of system of control in the way that both of them are, which is why I'm very Eastern. But I don't allow for any of these systems. I want to be free of all these systems. I want to be, you know, I recognize the need for both, the balance of either. Because, you know, I want to be a good human, but I also realize the cost of being a good human these days. You know, the things that come when somebody dangles, hey, you could be a good person if you subscribe to this idea, and you're a bad person if you don't subscribe to these ideas. And the way that the way that people, you know, try to manipulate you into being a certain way and holding up a certain way of life, right? You know, I don't need anyone's validation to know that I'm a good person. And I take the light with the dark. Sometimes there's shit that people need to hear that they don't want to hear, that I'm willing to deliver. And it's not because I want to be a mean person, it's because the truth will absolutely set you free on more than one occasion. And, you know, like I said, I spent so much of my life avoiding the truth and being miserable over it. And yeah, while, you know, it hurts to hear the truth sometimes, you know, ripping that Band-Aid off is so liberating. But then on the same at the same time, you know, spiritually on that other end, right? Like they have a lot of work to do, because people think that just because you go to church every single Sunday, that somehow that means you're a good person, right? Somehow people believe that. As long as I make it there every single Sunday, I can be a horrible sinner, because we're all sinners, right? That's what they tell you. And it's there's so much hypocrisy there. And, you know, so much ignorance in it as well. And of course it has this foolproof system where, you know, any other religion is wrong. And it's like, oh, Buddhism is sacrilegious. Is it really sacrilegious to be Buddhist? Because I can tell you, from being on both ends of the spiritual spectrum, and I really didn't want to be a spiritual person. I rejected that for a very long time. But I can't deny it anymore. That I have, you know, found what people define as God. It is not a human being, it's not a human spirit, it's like an essence. And like, there's so many people who claim that they found it, and it's all up here. Like, it's in the mind. In the same way that, like, there are so many people that think that they're a good person on the other end of things, you know. And it's like,
Good work, but there's room
they
for
think that they're doing the right thing because of social norms, but both have shaped the world to be in their favor, so that they can think that they're good people, but they're not objectively good people, you know. Like some people might go off and do the nasty with a bunch of people, and they're like, oh, well, it's completely in my human right to do this. And it's like, okay, yeah, it is in your human right to divulge into these behaviors if you want to. You know, no one is going to stop you, and you're at liberty to do it. But if you're feeding an addiction, or you're using it, you know, to avoid something deeper, that does not make you a good person. It's